Now, an investigation by British animal rights organisation has found that our free-range eggs might not be as free-range as we originally thought.
This is the Animal Justice Project. Now, they flew drones over 3 RSPCA-accredited farms and subsequently discovered that thousands of chickens were being kept in cramped conditions, surrounded by skeletons. Sorry, this is quite graphic at this time of the morning. Skeletons of dead hens.
Well, joining us now with more details is Animal Justice Project campaigner Tayana Smith, alongside poultry farmer Daniel Brown. Tayana, let's start with you. These really are shocking revelations. What did you find?
Yes, so in our investigation, we exposed 3 RSPCA Assured free-range farms, which all supply major supermarkets. And we really found some truly horrendous conditions. I mean, hens were suffering from illness, injuries such as prolapses, growths, twisted necks. There was extreme feather loss. Some hens were almost threadbare with red raw patches on them. Severe bullying. We actually filmed one hen being pecked to death by other hens on camera. As you were saying, there were dead bodies throughout the sheds left to decompose for clearly days or even weeks by the fact that they were kind of skeletons. Hens were walking on piles of dead bodies. And perhaps, most misleading to customers is that on all 3 of these farms, throughout the 3 farms, we didn't film any hens going outside. So pop holes were left unopened. And this was despite the fact that there were no bird flu restrictions in the area at the time. So it's really shocking, kind of abysmal conditions for hens marketed as high welfare and free range.
Get to the bottom of this, Tayana. Are you saying that the regulations aren't strong enough, or that they're not being put into practice and then assessed and checked?
I would say probably both. So RSPCA Assured farms are supposed to have audits, and they do have audits. Most of these audits are announced. But we have found time and time again, Animal Justice Project has found that farms assured by assurance bodies such as RSPCA Assured and Red Tractor just aren't up to standard. They're just not protecting the welfare of the hens. And I mean, on top of that, I would say that even if farms are following all of the guidelines, I mean, free range really isn't what the image that we see on these kind of glossy advertising, like the supermarket videos, or even the pictures of hens kind of clucking happily in fields on the cartons, because in reality, it's up to 16,000 hens living in a shed, barely going outside, and living in these kind of intensive conditions. So I think that the public is being misled about what free range is.
Daniel, you're a poultry farmer in my neck of the woods in Suffolk. Now, there is an insatiable appetite for eggs. We eat a lot of eggs, and there are regulations, aren't there, for you as a poultry farmer?
There are an awful lot of regulations, and we on our farm we're audited by the Lion Code every 6 months, by RSPCA every 6 months, and then there are other bodies who can come in and audit as well. I think what I want to say, having watched the video that Tayana's organisation have produced, is there are scenes in there which fall below the standard we would expect for a free-range chicken farm. But at the same time, there are things in that video, such as claiming that the nest boxes are closed. Well, it's the middle of the night. Nest boxes are closed at night. And there are also reasons why pop holes can be shut during the day. I think one of the sheds, it turned out, there were actually no birds in. The shed was being cleaned out. And vets can give notices to have birds shut in for medical reasons during the day. But yeah, the demand for eggs keeps going up and up. The population keeps increasing, and they're a good source of all of the proteins and vitamins and minerals and things you need to have a healthy diet.
Daniel, when we buy a box of eggs and we look at what looks like marketing on there that makes us think, oh, I'm doing the right thing, I'm buying an egg that from a chicken that's been looked after, a hen that's been looked after properly. When we buy something that says it's free range, what are we actually buying? What kind of conditions is a chicken supposed to be kept in?
Well, you're buying an egg which the bird has to have access to the range from 9 a.m. until sunset every day. So the birds will wake up in the morning, probably 5 or 6 a.m. They'll lay their egg in the nest box. They'll have feed and water ad lib, so they can eat and drink whenever they like. And then the pop hole should be open by 9 a.m. until sunset. So in the summer, that can be sort of 10 o'clock at night. In the winter, it's obviously a lot earlier. the birds won't come in until it gets dark because they've got a natural homing instinct to come back into the shed and roost at night. You don't sort of need to drive them back into the shed at night. That is just a natural instinct. They want to go back in there because that's where the food and water are, and they're safe from predators in there.
So Tayana, can I just come back to you on that? And Daniel says those potholes are closed at night, so therefore you wouldn't expect them to be open. Also, just in terms of your own organisation, you are campaigning for us to eat fewer eggs, are you?
So in terms of coming back to the pot-hole, the filming that we did of the pot-holes was all during the day. So that was at 3 separate farms on up to 4 different days, and not even necessarily consecutive days. So, and we did research, bird flu restrictions in the area at the time. There weren't any, so we haven't got a clear answer as to why those pot-holes weren't being opened. In terms of our organisation, we campaign to end animal agriculture. We've done time and time again, we've done investigations that show that welfare doesn't make a meaningful difference to the lives of animals. And, we keep exposing these high welfare farms that are protected by these organizations, by assurance schemes. And, still we're exposing intense suffering of animals. So we would say that you don't need to eat eggs to be healthy. There's plenty of other plant-based sources of protein that you can have that don't subject animals to lives of suffering. And even if hens, even if these RSPCA Assured guidelines are being followed, I mean, I don't know if people are aware that all male chicks in the egg industry are killed within 24 hours of birth, so they're gassed to death. That's because they have no use in the egg industry. And most free-range hens are slaughtered at 18 months. We did an investigation last year showing the kind of violent process of catching, which happens at the end of a hen's life when their egg production has dropped. And they are sent to the slaughterhouse at 18 months when naturally they would live much longer than that. So there's still cruelty involved, even if farms are following all of these
for time.
rules.
We have to leave this discussion here, but thank you so much. I really appreciate hearing both sort of sides of this quite complex story. Tayana Simons, a campaigner with the Animal Justice Project, and also Daniel Brown, poultry farmer in Suffolk. Look, we spoke to the RSPCA. They said this footage is understandably upsetting, and while we suspended all 3 farms, we are launching urgently our own investigation. They say welfare concerns on assured certified farms are rare, and millions more animals are having a better life thanks to the charity.
Yeah, a very, very complex story indeed. And of course, as I said, an insatiable appetite for eggs still in this country.